Yes, Bleach fans. Yes, Bleach fans. We finally have the manga back in business. Rolling. Tate Kubo is actually back in business. And we were only expecting the anime to come back next year. But now we have news and the first chapter revealing a new arc. Let's clap it up. So many doubters out there was like, Bleach is washed up, Bleach is this, Bleach is that. You'll never see any more with the anime. You'll never see any more with the manga. The manga was rushed on its ending and it's trash now. No more respect for the former number 3 and the big 3. You know what? Everything comes back in full circle now. Again, we are getting the anime, still getting the anime next year, which hopefully they will be tweaking some of the things in there to tie up some loose ends. Potentially not, because in this one-shot arc, Ichigo still has the one blade Zangetsu as opposed to the dual wielding Zangetsus. So it doesn't look like that's going to change as far as the manga is concerned. But maybe they'll take a little poetic license with the anime. Hopefully. Not something that you want to hold your breath for. But again, the one shot serves the one blade Zangetsu, so it's probably going to stay like it is in the manga. However, we're not going to be concerned about that. Let's just relish in the moment that not only is the anime coming back for the 1,000-year Blood War arc, but it may even continue for this new arc that's going to be written, as well as maybe even the light novels will get animated, hopefully. Who knows? I, for one, am very excited just in general. Like I said, we've been looking and hoping and searching and praying for all this to come back. It is what it is. But let's go ahead and get into the greatness, which is the manga. So, I've already read this, reviewing it here for you guys. Of course, they had to start out with this awesome page with all the new captains as they are at this point in the storyline. But of course, no other lieutenants in here but Renji. But Renji is a lieutenant that just goes without saying. He's incredibly instrumental to the storyline. Can't help but have Renji. So, as we go on into the story, we have a random person narrating saying that they had 2 goldfish. The larger one died. The smaller one started growing bigger and stronger as a result of the larger one not being around. I'm assuming it was probably a bully type of situation that they were trying to depict. But we still don't have an answer of who this mystery narrator is, how much older they apparently are, or what. So that's still kind of a mystery. Not really sure if they're going to explain that later on. But according to this particular narrator, it's a good thing that the larger one died. Me personally, I'm not touching that one. But then we go on to the next panel that has Orihime checking in on Kazui, Ichigo, and Orihime's one and only son, who is supposed to be sleeping. However, as we can see here, he is not. He is faking sleep, which he's also chilling with Kon. Don't know if that's a regular basis thing or not, but hey, Kon's still a cool part of the show. Sometimes he can be super annoying, but a little bit of comic relief, and every story needs comic relief, so it's cool. I'm fine with it. Then we go along after Orihime slips back out the door, says thinks that everything is cool. We see Kazui deciding that he's going to slip out. Kon, of course, tries to stop him. No avail. Jumps out, takes his Soul Reaper form, and Kon follows. Now, strangely enough, the fish, apparently the one who died, of course, obviously, but the narrator couldn't have been Kazui, could it? I'm not sure, but again, we do definitely have a fish that he's flying on. So, we next panel find out that he's going to, give some attention to this poor soul who's crying, weeping, and all that kind of thing. Concerned about being alone. Kazui being the sweet, innocent kid that we're hoping he is. He looks like he is. Says, hey, you know what? We're gonna go play, mister. Of course, the guy is like, I'm not old enough to be a mister. I'm only 15. Dude, you don't look enough. Nobody's 15. You don't look like anybody's 15, dude. So I don't know what you're saying. So, anyway, getting on past that, Kazui's like, yeah, let's play. I'm going to take you to this shrine. So they go up, as you can see. Oddly enough, how or why and when did Kazui get the ability to do the song and dance? First off, how did you learn this song and dance? And then, where did the power come from for you to do this? And then a Garganta seemingly opens up. Where did you get this power from, kid? Please explain this, Kubo, because granted, you're the son of potentially the strongest character in the whole entire show. But even he didn't have that power to do a song and dance and open a Garganta. So where did that come from, Kubo? Please explain. But of course, we should expect that, Kazui's going to be somewhat of a badass because, again, Ichigo's his father. Then on to the title page, Bleach, No Breath from Hell. And then we go to another cutscene 3 hours previously. We have Ikaku is now apparently training people, which I don't know how he particularly got into that role, but hey, different things can be done with different titles within the Soul Society, I'm assuming. I'm assuming also that Ikaku is still fulfilling his roles as the Lieutenant of Squad 11, so there's that. But him and Ichika, which is Rukia and Renji's daughter, seem to have a good mentor-mentee relationship because, this is happening. She's trying to get the sneak attack on him, not working. But then again, look, think about who we're talking about. It's Ikaku. And so then, they're like, hey, you're late, so we're not going to do the lesson for today, scram. And then, of course, he refers to her as a dumb brat, which I think is actually, there's a censored, dumbed down version from another translation. I'm not sure. I've actually heard other versions saying that she's a little shit. But then enters this individual, which I'm not sure who this is. And I'm not also even seeing a name of this individual. So I'm not really sure who this individual is, but she breaks up the monotony between Ichika and Ikaku and says, hey, you need to get ready. Stop playing around. Then we cut scene to my boy Renji talking to nobody else but Ichigo. And apparently Urahara has made it back into the Soul Society. I guess they went ahead and dropped all the charges against him, seeing as how, he was framed to begin with, and by Aizen and all that. So they was like, hey, you know what? We're gonna let him back in. He's gonna bring all kinds of technology back to the Soul Society, and it's really impressive. They got smartphones with FaceTime, and of course, that's how Ichigo and Renji are actually talking to each other. So hilarious enough, Rukia comes in with her one ponytail hairdo. Um, you're thousands of euro with a one ponytail hairdo. Not really sure how I feel about that. But I'm sure all the Rukia fans will be like, oh, she's so cute, she's so pretty. Not denying that. But still, the one ponytail hairstyle. Are we still 5? I'm not sure. Anyway, so then she comes in, breaks up the conversation between Renji and Ichigo, and is like, "Hey, hold on! I didn't know there was such a thing as a phone where you could see each other's faces. I still have my old phone where it's just the ability to talk." I'm not really sure why you're stuck in the past, nor am I sure why that technology was already in society. So why did the Soul Society not actually already have this technology? Don't know. But it definitely beats a Soul Pager. So then, out of nowhere, this guy comes into play, and of course, being jealous of anything that someone speaks on about Kisuke, he's like, I'm not no second-rate scientist myself. I don't get too excited about anything that Kisuke Urahara has done, so let's not talk about him no more. But I did come about the fact that I have these little bug things that allow me to do this a really cool I said holographic rather. Let me not say hollow because obviously. But does this presentation where he can project himself from a mechanical bug he sends anywhere and everywhere he wants it to go, to tell them, hey, you need to go ahead and get ready because we have the ceremony that's coming up, which is of course again what Renji was telling Ichigo about to begin with. So it goes to each of the barracks where we are reintroduced to the characters in their current status. We got the 4 squad, which is now has Isane as the captain, and Momo. Well, hold on a second, my bad. And Nataro, which is this little scared joker right here, is her lieutenant now. Then we have the 5th company, which Shinji is now, of course, the 5th squad leader, squad captain. And Momo, I'm not really sure what this look is on her face, but it's typical of Momo from how I feel. She's still the assistant of the lieutenant of Squad 5. But of course, so then we have Ichika, who's just being nosy and stuff, all up in the business, all up in the Kool-Aid, and don't know the flavor. She ends up having to start snooping around and hears Mayuri telling everybody that they need to assemble the assistant, I keep wanting to say assistant captains because that's what they're referred to a lot of times in the manga. But the lieutenants, she's hearing that the lieutenants are going to the world of the living to catch a hollow, and then the captains are staying back in the Soul Society because the ceremony itself ends up being that they take a hollow, they capture it, they don't kill it, they don't do the normal stuff like killing it and sending it to back to Wake Mundo or doing the console and sending it to the Soul Society. However, they capture it, take it back to the Soul Society, and then they kill it in the grave of any captains. Not really sure how I feel about that. That seems really sadistic, really weird. So, Mayuri is over here trying to gather everybody, trying to make sure they're in the right place, which is interesting because Mayuri is normally not the person who does all the gathering of these particular things. So it's kind of weird to actually see him doing the roll call, so to speak. But anyway, then of course at the bottom we see Nao still being the lieutenant of Squad 1, which of course she follows Chunsui. Then we see Soifon and Dumbass Omaida still in Squad 2. Then we see Squad 7, where Tetsu Zaimon has taken over the helm from Kamamura because, of course, in the earlier chapters of the manga, he's now returned to life as a normal dog. That I never really understood, and that was weird. But I feel like that was a great job to pull Tetsu Zaimon into that position because I really like him as a character. However, they never introduced his lieutenant until now. This gentleman right here, Ato. Apparently he doesn't speak. He only does sign language. So that's a new one. That's definitely a new one. Not sure why or how that ends up happening, but hey, it is what it is. These are apparently very popular with birds. Then we switch gears over to Squad 10, where Toshiro is still the captain, Rangiko is still his lieutenant. They still have the same silly banter where he's being all serious and her being silly and things of that nature. And also we have Squad 9, where Shuhei is apparently said something that Mayuri didn't like too well, so he's almost trying to kill him. But we have Kensei, which is one of my favorite captains, now over at Squad 9. And still we have Ichika still ear hustling, being all up in the Kool-Aid. Then we go over, everyone's all done all that gathering up and all that good stuff like that. Ichigo and Renji having a little conversation and whatnot. And this is where they actually, go into a little bit more in depth about like the purpose of everything. So, not to ruin it for anyone who hasn't read it yet, I'll let you read it on your own. We're not going to go too much into the detail of what was said. But then we meet the lieutenant of Squad 8, which they didn't actually show that I can't think of her name, but her last name is Yadamaru. Her assistant we are finally introduced to because we hadn't known anything about her up to this point, but here she is. She definitely altered her Shihakusho to a very great extent, where this is what she's wearing. But she's like your typical teenager, has a smartphone, taking pictures of Ichigo where he's trying to be all modest and stuff, talking about, hey, you're a war hero, I want a picture, can I get an autograph and such like that. Crazy enough, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we see this monstrosity. We see this. Like, what is this? What is this? No one knows. But apparently, also, no one sees this. But, except for Ichika, who has escaped to the world of the living, might I add you. She calls out to Renji. Renji's like, what in the world are you doing here? And then the creature pimp slaps Renji into a building Ichigo, in natural fashion, slices it up. No more issue in that regard. However, then we see others join the party. One even impels Kione. What's going on here? Where did this come from? How did no one see this coming except for Ichika? And of all people, why was Ichika able to see this and no one else? Especially these joints being as big as they are. Anyway, Ichika runs to her dad in father-daughter fashion. Everybody starts hacking and slashing at the different beings that we're kind of running into. Everyone's like, these can't be hollows. They don't have a spiritual pressure. What's going on here? So, then of course, we get the Squad 7 lieutenant that's like, okay, you released your Shikai, birds come out, and then what in the world is this? The birds destroyed this monster. It's like something out of a horror flick. Oh my god, what is this? What is this? What is this? And then we have the Squad 8 lieutenant who comes out of nowhere, not even using her Zanpakuto, smashing stuff, just has some kind of ability where she just goes bang, and then this happens. Yeah, he's not having kids anytime soon. Also, well, you're not gonna have a head to do anything either, so she kind of took away two heads, two attacks. Not fair. Feel sorry for that one. So then, we have Ion, of all people. Not sure where he came from or what happened there. Because usually he doesn't step out of the Squad 12 barracks. But now he's apparently a lieutenant and has no choice but to come out. But, he's doing his thing. Apparently his Zanpakuto has the ability to turn people into, melt your ass. Yeah, we're not even going to touch on that because I've never seen him use his Zanpakuto, so this is actually all new. I'm pretty sure this is new to everybody. Not sure. So we're just going to leave that at that for now. We're just going to not even touch on that. Yeah. Then, one almost gets the drop on him though, and then we have Lieutenant Kira coming in badass style, stomping the life out of this being, out of this hollow like creature, and like, bruh, rocking the hoodie now. What are we, Hoodie Kira? Hoodie Kira in the building? Hashtag Hoodie Kira in the comment section below. Dude came out like a beast. Let me find out that Kira's trying to be a badass now. He done got a little bit more confidence and now he's showing out. So, going back to Renji, he's being father of the year, protecting Ichika and all that good stuff. Having a tiny moment in the midst of the chaos. Then all of a sudden, he gets chained up. Where in the world did these chains come from? What's going on? All of a sudden, out of a little pool of abyss, comes a familiar face. Zayalaporo groans. Of course, Zaya, as I guess some people would call him, is like, hey Renji, I see you come out to play. But where's that scientist and that nerdy little guy? I owe y'all some revenge. And I'm gonna go ahead and cast you right into hell. But you know what? That's where I came from, and it's actually great. I love it. I have now been unshackled from my hole as a hollow. It's now outside of me. So we get to have the fun of, destroying stuff. And I'm gonna kill you to make up for what you did to me. But let's go back into things. He also goes in and says, hey, you know what? That whole ceremony that you guys are about to do, that ceremony isn't quite what you think it is. Let me educate you a little bit. So, guess what? I'm also going to kill your daughter while I'm at it. I'm going to kill everybody. I'm going to take everything that you hold dear and I'm going to get rid of it. But then, of course, Ichigo comes in badass style and slashes the chains. Xyloporo is like, who in order you? What do you want? Like, actually, he knows. Damn it, here's another. So here comes Ichigo slicing the chains, freeing Renji, helping him out. It's like Laporo, somehow or other, knows who Ichigo is, and was like, "I'm going to kill you too, bro. You get a chance. You're going to get a chance to taste this too. You going to catch these hands." Of course, Ichigo never saw him in the Waco Mundo arc, so he has no idea who that is. Who are you? What do you want? You about to catch these hands, so I don't know. Don't get used to being here. Then we go back to the Soul Society, where these little black droplets come out of nowhere. When Soifun is about to touch him, here's where the interesting part of everything comes into play. Shunsui stops her and is like, hey, this is not Reishi. Don't touch it. It's not Reishi. Don't do it to yourself. This is phosphoplasm. Hope I didn't say that too poorly. Everybody's like, what? So then, here is where the explanation of what Xylopero is talking about, which also he is going to later on be explaining to Ichigo. They're spirit classes. Something that is new to the whole world. And like, okay, spirit classes. What is this? Why has no one ever really broke this down before? So, with that, and I think I left it behind. Yeah, here it is. So, there are 3 classes. A normal company member has about 20th class Reishi. Those are the ones who will, when they pass on, just naturally go back into the nature of the Soul Society as Reishi, whatever. Then there's 4th or 5th class, which is usually going to be your vice captains / lieutenants. And then those of third or higher class are usually going to be your captains. Namely, like the captains of the Gote and the Zero Squad, and anyone above that. These particular classes of Reishi are too rich, too powerful to go back to the natural order of Reishi in the Soul Society. So they performed the ritual that they were about to do. They had already done previously for Captain Yamamoto and Ritsu Onohana, better known as Yachiro Onohana. And we find out something very unusual about this process. We actually find out that this ceremony isn't just something that's done to correct the natural order, but the process actually ends up sending the people that are having the process done, they're being sent to hell. So essentially you're not doing any justice to these people, such as Yamamoto, Unohana, and when they were actually doing the process for Jushiro Ukitake. So, like, these guys y'all are sending these guys to hell for what reason? Y'all are messing up things by doing this particular procedure. This ceremony is like sending people who shouldn't be in hell to hell, unless you're saying, hey, they did their fair share of evil. Not gonna touch on that, but you're sending these jokers to hell. So what do you expect is going to happen? But that outrageous concentration of powerful reishi, specifically from these three, is going to ended up breaking the doorway open to hell, allowing people to get out. And that's how Xayalaparo ends up in the world of the living and is about to try and cause havoc. However, it's too late. So Ukitake, who is now in hell, has speared this guy with his Zanpakuto, his released Shikai, in fact. So Ichigo is like, what in the world have we gotten ourselves into? What are you talking about? The ceremony's not over. But yeah, it's pretty much over at this point. And then the gates of hell actually come out. And yeah. So then Xayalaparo leaves us with one last gem before the end of the chapter, and leaving us with the idea, why in the world do the butterflies that the Soul Reapers follow through the precipice world have the word hell in the name? They're called hell butterflies. Why is that? And naturally, you know what? I had never even thought about that myself. So I'm like thinking to myself, that's a good freaking question. Why are they called hell butterflies? But now we are about to find out the origin and the reason why they're called hell butterflies, as well as get a little bit more information about, what's going on down in hell. Why is Xayalaparo Grimes back in the world of the living in this new look, and yeah, we also end it with Kazui chasing hell butterflies. Not really sure what to think about this particular deal, but this is going to be very, very interesting. And one thing that the Bleach community, I haven't heard anyone specifically say this yet, but if you are a Bleach Brave Souls player, you may have already been aware that this was going to happen. Because in the Bleach Brave Souls mobile game, they do have these concepts of Espada being reborn in hell with these badass new looks, as I will show you here. Let's take a look, for instance, about what I'm talking about. Being a little slow to come up, but look at this. these are the concepts from Bleach Brave Souls mobile game, also now a PC game, that have already been made aware that they were happening. Why would Kubo take the time to make concept art of and put it into a game that the game itself has nothing but canon material in it? There's no, I don't even think there's bounce in the Bleach Brave Souls game. I don't remember there being any bounce whatsoever. So for there to be a canon Bleach game with these concepts in it, what does that mean for everything else? That means that we are going to have something. We already have Xylopro in here. So that also means that this guy, all of these are going to be in here in some capacity. Now, granted, not all of the Espada actually died, but we do know that Xylopro did. So did Ukiura. So did Noritora. And so did, let's see, there's Stark, he died. If I'm not mistaken, he died. So did Baragon. Hollybell didn't, but she's got a little design right here. Grimjaw didn't. Again, Grimjaw didn't die, but he has a concept. This guy, the 8th Espada died, so he has a design. But again, he has a design and he did die. He died to Byakuya. So, anyone who has played the Bleach Brave Souls mobile and PC game should have been aware that this was going to happen. We just didn't know when. I'm not sure what to make of this and how long it's going to take for them to reintroduce all these characters and which ones they will introduce. But yeah, it was definitely something that was to be expected with the concepts being in a canon video game. But I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I've already rambled on quite a bit. Hopefully, well, this was a 73-page joint, so there was a lot to discuss and unpack. We will see things in the future, how they unfold. I can't wait. I'll be hanging on every word, and I will definitely be back with shorter reviews in the future. But until next time, I'll catch y'all in the next one. And we back. I'm back with more. I can't wait. Again, catch y'all in the next one.